Well, we're going to move across to a BBC iPlayer for a new comedy series called Austin. It arrived on Friday, the 4th of April. And here's a clip.
What's your name?
Austin Hogan. I'm pretty sure that I'm your son.
A beloved children's author getting to know his long-lost autistic son. There could be a book in it.
Could be a documentary.
Maybe you'd like to come and visit us.
I'm going to Great Britain.
Is a handshake okay?
Have you washed them recently?
No, she hasn't.
Yes, so I've watched 2 episodes of this. This is on BBC iPlayer, and I really didn't think I was going to like it very much when it started. I thought, oh no, this just feels really awkward and uncomfortable and kind of, it just didn't work for me. But I soon found myself completely sucked in, and before I knew it, the first episode was over, which is always a great sign, isn't it, when something just goes so quickly and you know, as this title suggests, you just want to binge watch it. And I actually do really want to binge watch the rest. So this stars Ben Miller. He is a best-selling children's writer. Now, he's quite annoying. It starts with him being quite arrogant, does love himself. His wife is the person that does all the illustrations for his book. She is played by,
Sally Phillips.
She is played by Sally Phillips. And actually, I prefer her part to his. She just kind of creates this kind of even keel between the two of them, because working with someone and being married to them, I'd imagine, is pretty tough. So anyway, he is a very renowned children's author, and he makes the silly mistake one night of retweeting something or re-Xing something, whatever it's called these days, which was basically a terrible thing that he shouldn't have done, and it had been originated from somebody, a neo-Nazi, which just she shouldn't have done. But he didn't see that, he didn't realise, and he did it. And of course, immediately his kind of whole career is thrown into question, because people don't want to sell his books. He's associated with the wrong thing. I mean, all very obvious. And we have seen stuff like this before, not particularly as authors, but we have seen stuff like this before. But at the same time, a lad turns up called Austin. And Austin says that he claims that he is his son. Now, there's this awkward moment, because first of all, he wants to do a runner from the bookshop that he's in. He wants to try and get out of the back because he doesn't want to speak to, he thinks he's a lunatic. Why on earth is he claiming that I'm his father? I'm clearly not. And his wife, she says, hang on a minute, let me go and speak to him. And they end up sitting around in a cafe and chatting. And it turns out that, of course, the dates don't quite work out, because he was already with his current wife then. That was all a bit awkward too. But it's not brilliantly credible. I mean, I feel like I would have had a right tantrum at that point, knowing that, probably gone crazy. And she's just so together. She just holds it together, puts a bag over his shoulder, and just kind of walks out. But it's all done in a very sort of, there's kind of like a comedic level to it in some respects. Now, Austin is 28, and this is the interesting part of this. He's neurodivergent and he's autistic, and he's my favourite character, actually. I just love it, because do you know what? We talk a lot about people dealing with autism or, various different neurodivergent issues, and he explains so much to me. I don't know what you thought, Ian, but I literally felt like I learned so much from him, and this kind of linear way to discuss things and just being completely direct. Wouldn't the world be better if we were all a bit more direct rather than dancing around everything? And I absolutely thought he was brilliant. So it's 8 parts. As I say, I'm 2 episodes in. I'm completely hooked. I want to know where it goes. I'm really interested to see the relationship, if there's a relationship between him and his son, and also the fact that there's a funny part. I think it's just in the first episode, the end of the first episode, where the mother of Austin is talking to her current husband, and he says, "Well, of course, he owes you all the money." He says, "I don't want any of his money." He said, "Well, He's a successful author, children's author. Why wouldn't you want some of his money? He hasn't looked after his son." So suddenly there's a different dynamic there too introduced. It's I don't know what it is, but I enjoyed it. What did you think, Ian?
Yeah, like you, I didn't particularly think I was going to like it, but I mean, Ben Miller, for him, sort of playing an exasperated sort of middle-class professional who's in trouble, it's like falling off a log for him. He's very good at it. And Sally Phillips is just delightful. But yeah, as you say, kind of the breakout star of this is Michael Theo, who he was in the reality show Love on the Spectrum. It was about people with autism dating, and now he's got the title role in this. And as you say, it's the way that he interacts with other people is what makes it. It's funny, but it's also really interesting. So, for instance, when they first get together for a dinner party, all he does is like ask his dad about errors on his Wikipedia page, So stuff like that. I mean, I think at points it stretches credulity. Like, for instance, I mean, it reminded me a bit of the premise of Douglas is Cancelled with Hugh Bonneville, where he suddenly becomes persona non grata because of social media. But yeah, so in episode 1, because his book launch is getting pulled by it's all set in Australia, by the way, by a big bookstore, they kind of get in touch with another sort of independent bookstore, but it turns out to be one that's just got lots of copies of Mein Kampf in the window, so I kind of didn't really buy into that. But there's a lot to recommend it, and Michael Theo and his character are what makes this different, and yeah, I enjoyed it.